On today's episode, we're going to talk about how many creators go on to have a viable business after crowdfunding success, and we're also going to talk about what industry is poised for a crowdfunding disrupt.
CrowdFund Genius, take one.
Welcome back for another episode of CrowdFund Genius Live. I'm your host, ZacBob. Make sure you check out our podcast on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. And while you're at it, go ahead and follow us on Twitter and Periscope at CrowdFund Genius. Every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're trying to stick to the schedule. We go live on Periscope with a crowdfunding question and answer. What you're seeing now is the video footage that we filmed during the live question and answer. So today we have a couple great questions, and if you want to ask us a question, the way to do that is just send us a tweet at CrowdFund Genius and ask your Kickstarter or Indiegogo or crowdfunding related question. If you're running a crowdfunding campaign, or if you have a friend that's running a crowdfunding campaign or ran one in the past, maybe it failed, maybe it succeeded, go ahead and ask us a question or tell that friend about this show and have them ask us a question. We'll give a shout out to live crowdfunding campaigns, so if you have a friend running a live crowdfunding campaign, make sure that they get on the show by sending us a question to @CrowdFundGenius. All right, let's go ahead and kick this show off with our very first question. Go.
Hey, what's up? ZacBob, Alex Barker. It's been a while. But you know what? I've been thinking about you. Not in the creepy sense, but more in like the business sense. I've been reading a couple of books, and I've been thinking more and more about this idea of crowdfunding. And I wondered what your opinion on was this. What industry or business idea do you think should be crowdfunded? I think about how hotels have been crowdfunded with Airbnb. I think about how the taxi service has been taken over by Uber. And I think about how creating an invention has been crowdfunded through Quirky. And that's got me thinking, like, what is next? And I've been thinking about this for days now, and I wondered what your opinion was on it, because you're the crowdfunding guru, you know? And you've seen things get funded and failed. So I wondered, like, what product, what service do you want to see crowdfunded? I got a few good ideas here and there, but nothing to execute on just yet. But anyways, hope you're doing well. Glad to see your podcast is just killing it. And let me know if you need anything in the future, buddy. Peace.
Alex, thank you for submitting a video question. This is our very first video question. So I met Alex last month at Podcast Movement. Brandon and I went down there to meet some of these people that we have talked to or that we've been listening to through podcasting, and we had a great time. Alex has a podcast called The 66-Day Experiment. It's about him trying things that are kind of out of the norm, but he does them for 66 days straight, and he podcasts about them. And the reason he does them for 66 days straight is because that's how long it takes for it to become a habit, or to kind of form of habit. So he's kind of doing that as a test to see if what he's trying out through those 66 days actually sticks. So make sure you check him out on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Now, to answer your question, Alex, what do I like to see crowdfunded? I like to see small things like small little wallets or bags or products. I'm a product-based person. I love when people launch a new product through Kickstarter or through Indiegogo, and I like it whenever it's a small price. When it's a small price to manufacture, you got a small price, and then you can sell it for about $15, $16 around that price range, because you get a big return on it. So I love to see products to answer that part of your question. Now for the second part of your question, which I'm even more excited to answer, is what industry do I kind of think crowdfunding will go to next? I mean, you had the Oculus Rift out there that made a lot, you know, that was a big campaign, which is another one that I got excited about, or any type of disruptors I think is exciting. But what I think and what I would like to see, now I have a kid, my son's 8 years old, he's in public schools, he goes to public schools, and I know a lot of people out there, their children go to public schools. Teachers don't have the funding, they don't have the pay that they need or deserve. They're teaching our children, they're teaching the next generation of creators and crowdfunders and podcasters and entrepreneurs. So they need the money, they need that type of funds, they need classroom supplies. And they already got these students coming in and out of their classrooms. Why not start collecting email addresses? You can build an email list just from your students' parents. And a lot of parents don't just have one child, they have 2 or 3. And some of them children will also be attending the same school. So why not have parents invest in that school supplies and invest in those teachers, because those are the teachers that are going to be teaching their other children. So I would love to see a crowdfunding platform. There may already be one, I'm not sure, but if there is, go ahead and answer in the comments right below on YouTube. And if not, find somebody, get somebody, Alex. Maybe you can do it, maybe somebody else you know can do it, but start a crowdfunding platform for these teachers so they can start funding their classrooms, start funding their supplies, and maybe even eventually someday we can start crowdfunding the teachers' salaries. All right, let's go on with question number 2. Take it away, Brandon.
Eric Moon at Moonertweet asks, I would love to know if there are any statistics on how many campaigns turn into viable ongoing businesses.
Great question, Eric. And Eric's a good friend of mine. I had a chance to talk to him before about his first Kickstarter campaign, which was the Decadent Minimalist Wallet. Kind of back to your question earlier, Alex, this is something that I love to see because it's a small aluminum wallet. It probably doesn't cost too much to make, and you can sell it for a lot more, and that way you got a good return on it. Now, Eric just finished his second campaign for the Decadent Minimalist Wallet 2. His first campaign was already a huge success. I believe it topped out almost at $100,000. It might have went over $100,000, don't hold me to that. But his second campaign, Eric's second crowdfunding, second Kickstarter campaign, just went over the $500,000 mark. He set his goal low, that way he was able to overfund it, which excites me, that makes me excited. Just seeing that right there, just somebody that's, I don't know if he's listening to the show, but somebody that's listening to the content that I'm putting out, overfund your campaign, people. That's how you get the chance or get that key to going viral. Now, back to what your question was, Eric. I had to look this up. I had to do some research because I wasn't quite sure, but it was such a great question because how many of these businesses or how many of these campaigns actually turn into businesses later on? I mean, some creators probably just launch their campaign, collect the money, fulfill the orders, and maybe that's it. But there was a study done in Pennsylvania by Wharton College or Wharton School, I believe it was, that said 90% of crowdfunding campaigns, 90% of successful crowdfunding campaigns go on 3 years or continue their business for up to 3 years later. Now, even further to break that down, some of the statistics were 38% of those campaigns, this is from the study done by the Pennsylvania College, the Pennsylvania School, Wharton School, 32% of those campaigns only make $25,000 a year afterwards. Now that is hardly viable. Now, with that being said, there's another statistic. 32% of campaigns, successful campaigns, continue on to make 6 figures or more after their crowdfunding success. 6 figures or more. 6 figures, hopefully if you're making 6 figures, you're pulling a little bit of money, so it's becoming a viable business and you can pour some more money into your business. Hopefully you don't have too much of an overhead that you can't make that possible or make that type of money work. So I think 32% is a good statistic to kind of go with to answer your question, Eric. So thank you for coming on the show and thank you for asking. So Eric, again, thank you for asking that question. I want to tell you a little bit of what's going on with CrowdFund Genius. Right now, since Brandon has come on, my show producer, he came on in July, I believe it was. The very first month, we almost broke our monthly download number. And then in August, at the beginning, I think it was within the first week, we broke our daily download number with our crowdfunding resource, Backers Hub. So we broke the daily one, and we've broken it several times since then, throughout this month, throughout August. Now this month, we've also surpassed our monthly download numbers. We almost doubled our monthly download numbers. So I want to say thank you all for sharing and for watching. Now if we could just get some comments and interaction going. I want to know what you guys think. I want to talk with you. I want to talk with the fans. I want to talk with everybody that watches this show or listens to the podcast. So send me a tweet at CrowdFund Genius. There's several other ways. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, CrowdFund Genius. We're on Snapchat. So make sure you check us out on Snapchat. And of course, if you have a crowdfunding question and maybe you don't want to ask me on Twitter, you want to ask me while it's live, jump on Periscope and ask me a crowdfunding question whenever we're live every Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you for tuning in. Happy crowdfunding. ZacBob out.